The differences between capitalism and socialism. In this video, we'll explore what these economic systems are, how they work, and which one is a better system for society. We'll also take a look at some economic data to help you make an informed decision. Let's start with capitalism. Capitalism is an economic system in which individuals and businesses own and control the means of production and trade. In this system, the production and distribution of goods and services are determined by the market forces of supply and demand. Capitalism is often associated with free markets, private property, and competition. Now let's look at socialism. Socialism is an economic system in which the means of production and distribution are owned and controlled by the government or by the community as a whole. In this system, the goal is to provide equal access to goods and services for everyone, and wealth is distributed more evenly across society. Socialism is often equated with social equality, public ownership, and central planning. So which system is better? Well, the answer to that question is complex and multifaceted. It depends on a variety of factors, including the goal of society and the value of the people and the level of economic development. However, we can examine some economic data to shed light on the differences between capitalism and socialism. Let's start with economic growth. Capitalist economies generally have higher economic growth rates than socialist economies. This is because capitalist economies are characterized by innovation, entrepreneurship, and competition, which drives productivity and growth. In contrast, socialist economies are often characterized by inefficiencies, bureaucracy, and lack of incentives, which can hinder growth. Now let's look at income inequality. Capitalist economies tend to have higher levels of income inequality than socialist economies. This is because capitalism relies on market forces to distribute wealth, which can lead to unequal outcomes. In contrast, socialist economies seek to reduce income inequality by redistributing wealth through progressive taxation, social welfare programs, and public ownership. Finally, let's examine unemployment rates. Capitalist economies tend to have lower unemployment rates than socialist economies. This is because capitalist economies are more flexible and adaptable to changes in the economy, which enables them to create jobs more quickly. In contrast, socialist economies are often characterized by rigid labor markets and lack of incentives, which can lead to high unemployment rates. So as you can see, both capitalism and socialism have their strengths and weaknesses. The choice between the two depends on the values and priorities of a society. Some people value economic growth and individual freedom, while others value social equality and collective well-being. Ultimately, the choice is up to you as a society to decide which system we want to adopt. However, it's important to note that the economic data we've discussed here is not the only factor to consider when evaluating these economic systems. There are many other factors to consider, including social stability, political freedom, and environmental stability, to name a few. Capitalism, for example, has been criticized for creating social unrest and widening income inequality. While it may drive economic growth, it can also lead to a concentration of wealth in the hands of a few, leaving many people behind. In contrast, socialism has been criticized for stifling innovation and individual freedom. While it may reduce income inequality, it can also lead to bureaucratic inefficiencies and lack of incentives for hard work. Another factor to consider is environmental sustainability. Capitalism, with its focus on profit maximization, can lead to environmental degradation and natural resource depletion. In contrast, socialism, with its focus on public ownership and planning, can potentially lead to more sustainable use of natural resources and better environmental outcomes. Finally, political freedom is another important factor to consider. Capitalism, with its emphasis on individual liberty and property rights, can provide a fertile ground for political freedom and democracy. However, it can also lead to the concentration of political power in the hands of wealthy elites. In contrast, socialism, with its emphasis on collective ownership and decision-making, can potentially lead to more egalitarian political systems, but it can also lead to the concentration of power in the hands of the government. So as you can see, the choice between capitalism and socialism is not a simple one. It is a complex and multifaceted decision that depends on a variety of factors. The best system for a society is the one that best balances the economic, social, political, and environmental priorities of that society. I hope this video has helped you understand the differences between capitalism and socialism and the factors to consider when evaluating them. Remember to approach these issues with an open mind and to always seek out multiple perspectives and evidence-based analysis. And as always, take care of your money.